Welcome back everybody to the Nomad Hedge. In today's video, we will be taking a look at the price action here for Bitcoin and see what lies ahead. If you haven't already, consider liking and subscribing, and let's get into the video. So let's start off here by taking a look at BTC on the monthly chart. And as you can see here, what's actually defined this bull market is this trend line here above the 21 EMA, right? So it's this red line here, and Bitcoin has basically respected this level ever since this bull market started back in 2022. And right now we have found resistance yet again at this critical trend line, but we've also reached an area of interest here where we're testing the 21 EMA again. So are we going to find support here, or are we going to reject this level and see further decline to potentially the 0.618? So in order to understand what's happening with this market, we have to take a look at it from the monthly, weekly, and the daily. On the weekly perspective, we can see that it has respected the 55 EMA, right? So it's this green line here. And as long as Bitcoin has stayed above this level, we have been in a bull market. So every time you could have made the case, every time you bought here at the 55, you would have made money either case. So that's pretty interesting. But right now we have broken below trend here, right? So you can see here that Bitcoin is trading below this trend line here from wave 4 intermediate, and then above also wave 2 primary. But now we are below the trend line and also below the 55 EMA. And it looks as if we have tried to break in above this level, but found resistance there. So that's pretty interesting. So we're going to take a look at Bitcoin here on the daily. A lot of technicians like to use the 365-day simple moving average. Okay, so it's this SMA moving average. And basically, the idea is that as long as Bitcoin is staying above this level, then you're safe to buy, and it's in a bull market. But our equivalent, because we only rely on Fibonacci moving averages, our equivalent is the 377. Okay, so the 377 has been an important moving average, okay, especially when you take a look at it from the daily perspective. And right now, right in front of you, we do have the 365 right here. Okay, so this is the daily. We were taking a look at the weekly at the 55, and then on the monthly, the 21. So on the daily, we want to observe the 377 EMA. Okay, so it's this blue line here. And it has solidly respected this level. But what's happening more recently is that we have tried to test this level, and we've also been rejected right at the 377. So what does this mean for the long term and intermediate term? Well, if we can see that this moving average has acted as resistance, I could make the case from an elliott wave perspective that this entire move here was just corrective, meaning it was a dead cat bounce. It reacted from oversold conditions, and then you had people piling in thinking that the bull market was about to start again. That could be the case, or it could also set the stage here for another impulsive move. Okay, so we could see Bitcoin moving higher here, and then set the stage for an impulsive move towards new all-time highs, and we're done with the correction. Okay, and mind you that we're also above the wave 2 primary, so that's pretty bullish actually. We did not break towards new lows here, meaning that this wave 2 primary is still intact. But if we're going to break below this level, that means that the correction is likely going to be larger. What do we make out of this? Well, if we take a look at this from an elliott wave perspective, we could make the case that this downside move here is wave A, right? So that's the A, that's the first start of the correction. And then you have a sucker bounce here, which is typically wave B. And what comes after, obviously, is wave C. Okay, so that's what we call a simple correction. That's typically the normal ABC correction. It's not part of a complex correction where you have multiple waves of ABC after another, and they can be prolonged, and these corrections can go on for a very, very long time. Broadly speaking, this correction here, if it were to play out down to the 100% extension, we could see Bitcoin finding support here right at this level, and it would coincide somewhat with the 0.618 retracement from the lows of 2022, which is right here. And we would also close the CME gap here. So that's basically how we view this market right here, is that the possibilities that Bitcoin could move lower. Okay, so what's actually driving that factor? Well, in order to understand that, we have to take a look at the relative performance of the market share when you look at Tether versus BTC. Because if you think about what Tether is, basically, every time you're buying Bitcoin, you're selling dollars. Okay, so Tether is a representative of dollars, and you're shorting Tether of BTC. When you take a look at Tether here on a monthly chart, you can see that Tether has been in a bear market, okay, ever since 2022. But since Tether has been in a bear market, Bitcoin and the crypto markets in general, but broadly speaking, Bitcoin has been in a bull market. But more recently, we have seen that Tether has broken above trend and is now moving upward. Okay, so that's very interesting. That means that this downside trend here is now over, and that Tether is likely to move higher, which is why we're seeing people selling BTC in favor of cash. So that's why it explains why we've had drawdowns for Bitcoin ever since November, when we started to peak. And so when we take a look at this, we also casually talked about the 377 EMA, right? So this level here, which was important for BTC, and the equivalent was the 365 SMA on the daily. But if we were to apply the 377, we can see here that Tether has actually respected this level in a bear market phase, but now it's trading above the 377, right? So we are above the 377, which is this bull line here. And we can see that Bitcoin has moved somewhat in an impulsive move, but also could be corrective. But anyhow, I think the decisive level to watch from now on is the standard deviation of this anchored VWAP. Okay, so this is the 0.618, the 0.618 of the deviation from the anchored VWAP. Okay, and so we can see here that it has acted as resistance recently, which is why we had this sucker rally, this dead cat bounce. And so now, if Tether is going to break out from this trend line here, that means it could set the stage to break towards new highs here, breaking above this level and the standard deviation of 0.618. And in my opinion, if we were to do that, it would then confirm that Tether dominance, the market share of Tether, is now in a bull market versus BTC, and that would strengthen the idea and the possibility that Bitcoin could actually make another leg down to this 100% extension here. And that would be huge, because then we would basically continue to see a drawdown here, and we would look at this level here for a potential support, and that would then entail a BTC price of around $60,000. So I think it's very important here to gauge the market level. Now, I could also make the case here that we could actually make another leg up move here, and that would in itself be an ABC correction of this correction here, and then we have the drawdown. So I'm fully open to that as well. If you take a look at Bitcoin here on a daily chart, I think it's important to understand that we're also trading below the POC line. So if we're starting to break above this POC line, watch for another potential leg up move here. So that's also a possibility. But since we found resistance here to 377, this correction or this upside move here, this ABC potentially could have already concluded, and we could see an impulsive downside move instead. So that's what I want to present here in this video, the possibilities here for Bitcoin to move lower. But at the same time, we could have also bottomed right here. So it offers great risk reward. If you want to add to BTC right at this level, and you think that Bitcoin might be heading higher, even towards new all-time highs, that's also giving you favorable risk reward here with your stop probably right here. And you would then have caught the bottom and then ride towards new all-time highs. Because if we take a look at Tether versus BTC here, if we're getting rejected at this level here, and Tether moves lower, that means that Tether could in fact break towards new lows here, and that this upside move here was just corrective for Tether, right? So we could be looking at something along the line of this. Or if this in fact is the conclusion of this bear market, but again, I'm watching this level here for confirmation, and if we started to break above that level, it would strengthen the case that Bitcoin will move lower to around $60,000. So, but then again, watch that Tether dominance and see also how Bitcoin is reacting to this 21 EMA here on the monthly chart. Because if we're staying, as long as we're staying above that level, we could see Bitcoin moving higher, and we could see the start here of a wave 1-2 primary and another intermediate degree wave 1-2. And then this wave 3 here, that's not something you want to miss. So that's what I wanted to present to you with this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care for now.